the government shutdown now some 16 hours into effect in the beginning of October, and both sides very much dug in. But we've heard from both sides here on Live Now from Fox, the Republican from Nebraska, Mike Flood, joining us just a little bit earlier. And let's talk about the other side of the aisle as a live look right there at the U.S. Capitol building just past 4:30 on the East Coast. We're going to be joined right now by Congressman Seth representing Rhode Island's 2nd District. Thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. We just heard a question from Eric Swalwell talking about how his constituents, his supporters are saying that they shouldn't cave. What's the mindset are you hearing from people in your district about this shutdown?
Absolutely, and not just the shutdown, but also the healthcare crisis that is exploding right now. Today is also the first day of open enrollment for health insurance. And what people are seeing in Rhode Island and all across the country is that their health insurance costs are going to go up by thousands of dollars next year because of this healthcare crisis. You know, my Republican colleagues need to understand that you can't just pull $1 trillion+ out of the American healthcare system and assume that nothing is going to happen. Prices are going up for everybody dramatically if the Congress does not act. And so that is why this fight is so important. It's about making sure that people will be able to afford to go to the doctor, will be able to afford to have their kids go to the doctor, won't see their costs go up astronomically. And our position on the Democratic side is we are here, we are ready to pass a bipartisan budget that reopens the government and addresses this healthcare crisis by reinstating the funding that Republicans were going to allow to lapse. But our House Republican colleagues need to get back to Washington so that we can solve this thing. We understand that there needs to be a negotiation, that there needs to be a discussion on the details, but we are here, we are ready to do the work. And for House Republicans to be home on vacation while the government is going into shutdown and the healthcare system is going into crisis is just completely irresponsible.
And you mentioned kind of the timing of this as people will have to start making those decisions, those open enrollments. But a lot of people are asking, why now? Could this conversation, could you have passed a CR until November? As the appropriations, they do set these kind of timelines for when the government obviously is shut down, how much money is out there. Why now? And why is now the point in which Democrats are saying no more?
There are two reasons that we have to deal with this now. The first reason is that health providers, doctors' offices, hospitals, nursing homes, they're having to set their budgets for next year. And they are looking at these huge cuts to Medicaid and to the Affordable Care Act coming down the pike. And they're having to make decisions now about whether to stay open or not, whether to raise prices or not, their staffing decisions. So they're making these decisions now. The doctors' offices, the nursing homes, people at home are making decisions now about whether to re-enroll for their health insurance plans or not. They're looking online and seeing these huge cost increases. So the crisis isn't 3 months from now. The crisis is now. The second reason that we can't wait is, no offense to anyone, but we just do not trust congressional Republicans to deal with this. They're saying essentially, well, yeah, we'll pass a budget and we'll deal with the healthcare thing later. But they're the same people who just cut $1 trillion out of Medicaid. How are we supposed to trust that they're just going to deal with this later? This is not a complicated issue. This is not complicated at all. What Democrats want is to reopen the government, to extend the funding for the Affordable Care Act. We're not asking for new funding. We're not asking for new programs. Just extend what's already in place and restore Medicaid funding that was cut over the summer. That's it. It could be a simple bill. It could be a simple process. And I think what's interesting is that, the Republicans, aren't even taking extending the Affordable Care Act funding off the table. They're, trying to delay. They're trying to sort of hem and haw about it, but they know that this is something that the American people want.
And you mentioned cuts and also maybe a lack of trust coming there. There's also conversations amongst the Trump administration about some of these furloughs not being necessarily temporary, but permanent. And they're kind of saying that Democrats are playing with fire, that more of these cuts and Donald Trump will get his way more so in the fact that a government is shut down in this way. Is that a concern that you have, that there might be more cuts during this shutdown that are irreplaceable?
We're not going to respond to threats and intimidation. We are in a fight to save the health care of the American people so that doctors' offices can stay open, nursing homes and community health centers and rural hospitals can stay open, and people can afford their health insurance and not see their health insurance costs go up by thousands of dollars because Republicans failed to act. So we're not going to respond to bullying. We're not going to respond to intimidation tactics. We are in this fight not for ourselves. We are in this fight for the American people so that it's more affordable to live in this country again and to be able to afford health care.
And I want to ask you, because obviously we heard from our Republican there, Mike Flynn. He was just on our air moments ago. He said the Republicans are as united as ever. What have you heard from Hakeem Jeffries? Have you spoken to Chuck Schumer? How are the Democrats, from the leadership point of view, kind of filtering it down to the members?
Democrats all support extending the Affordable Care Act funding. We all understand that this is an important fight. It is the Republicans who are divided on this. After the Oval Office meeting 2 days ago, J.D. Vance came out and said, the Democrats had some good points on the healthcare thing, and President Trump thought so too. And so, maybe we're going to end up doing some of that. Mike Johnson says no. You've got Republicans like Jen Kiggins and the moderate problem solvers saying that we should extend the Affordable Care Act funding. And then you've got the Freedom Caucus saying no. The Republicans are all over the map on this. But what I do know is where the American people are on this. The American people want the Affordable Care Act to continue. The American people do not want to see their health insurance premiums go up by double or triple digits next year. The American people want to be able to afford health care. And so Democrats are on firm ground here, and it is the Republicans who are divided.
And we saw back in 2018 a government shutdown last some 35 days from late December to mid-January. If this continues on, maybe not up until that 35-day point, but several weeks, do the conversations change at all? Will you guys start feeling the pressure?
Well, I think the Republicans are going to feel pressure, and they already are. I mean, look, the Republicans control the White House and the House floor and the Senate floor. The American people know that. And it is the Republicans who are now on vacation at home in their districts or around the country or around the world, and the Democrats in the House who are here in Washington prepared to work and reopen the government and fix the healthcare crisis. Everyone else is here. In the Senate, the Democrats and the Senate Republicans, to their credit, are here working. Democrats in the House are here working. It is House Republicans who are MIA. I'm here in my office in the Cannon House office building. The hallways are empty because the Republicans are all gone at a time when the government is in shutdown and the healthcare system is in crisis. That is a dereliction of duty. They need to get back here and understand the urgency of the situation. Otherwise, their voters are going to let them know how urgent this situation is.
All right, very urgent. It's only day number one. We'll see how it kind of goes through the timeline of this all. Representative Seth Magaziner, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate your perspective here on Live Now.
Thank you for having me.